So we're going to talk a little bit about informational interviews. I also like to call it relationship building, advice chats, or just going to coffee, taking someone to coffee. So what is an informational interview? It is a meeting in which a potential career seeker seeks advice on their career, the industry, available trainings, and the company culture of a potential future workplace or position. What does the employed professional get out of the interview? Well, they learn about the job seeker and become familiar with their professionalism potential, and they have an opportunity to grow their network as well. It usually falls into two categories. If I'm doing an advice chat, I'm usually chatting with someone at a company I wish to work for, if I'm already very focused and targeted in terms of my job or career, or I'm chatting or interviewing someone in a position I have interest in. Maybe I've never had a job as a software developer and I'm thinking about moving in that direction, but I'm not sure. So I want to talk to people in the field to make sure it's a good fit for me. Who would I interview? Like I stated before, someone in a career path you're thinking about going into, someone working in a company you're interested in. You're going to generally want to start with your own inside network and then branch out. So look at people that you know, maybe your previous colleagues or some friends, and if they aren't in the career that you have, perhaps they know someone, they have a friend or a family member that's working in the career of your interest, and they can help you set up your informational interview. What types of things could I learn from an informational interview? Why don't you pause this presentation and take a minute and brainstorm a list of some of the benefits of doing an advice chat or informational interview. Okay, we'd love to see what you came up with now. What are some of the benefits of an informational interview? Some of the answers could be the opportunity to grow your network, the opportunity to meet someone in a company in which you want to work for, the opportunity to learn the day-to-day and ins and outs and real life of someone who has the career of interest. Also an opportunity to make yourself visible to people in companies in the area. There might not be a job open at that company now, but there will be in the future. And if you are networked within that company, you will pop into the minds of the employees and recruiting departments of that company. So if informational interviewing can be so valuable, such a valuable tool in our career research box, why aren't we just scheduling them left and right all the time? Why don't we have a site visit every single day for this course? Because our site visits are group informational interviews. So obviously there are some barriers to obtaining informational interviews, and we're going to take a look at those next. Sometimes what we hear is definitely, well, why would anyone want to talk to me? So there's a barrier of knowing our inherent value. This is ridiculous. Who would want to listen to me? I'm just a regular person. Maybe this person is really busy and I'm just bugging them and I don't want to bug them. So what can we do to kind of get around this type of thinking? Oftentimes we'll think of ourselves as imposters. I'm not really a teacher. I was a teacher when I had a job. I don't have a job anymore now, so I'm not really a teacher. I'm just this imposter kind of looking for work, which is something we can do to ourselves. How do we kind of get around this? It's a change in thinking, definitely, and being able to recognize our value and recognize the fact that employed or not, we are still a professional in our field. What are some of the reasons that another person would want to talk to us on an informational interview? What are they getting out of the deal? Well, they're getting the opportunity to grow their network. They're getting the opportunity to talk about themselves, their field, their company. You'll find that more times than not, People enjoy talking about what they do for a living. They enjoy talking about themselves. They enjoy talking about a company that they are passionate about. Many times we'll say to target new employees or employees that have retired, because the employees that are retired have more time on their hands and they can be quite reflective about their careers. The employees that are new are really excited and pumped about their new career and their new job opportunity. So we reach out for our informational interview. We make the call, we send the email, we have a conversation, and they're not getting back to us. In that space of them not getting back to us, we might maybe come up with a story about why they're not getting back to us. And I say this from previous experience. They're not getting back to me because they saw my email and I'm not important enough for them to get back to me. They're not getting back to me because they're too busy. They're too busy to deal with me, and I'm just a big bother. And if I try and connect with them again or follow up with them, I'm just going to bother them so much to the point that they might be angry with me. These are all assumptions that we are making about the workload or the communication style of the person we are trying to connect with. What are some other reasons they might not be getting back to us? Well, maybe they're very busy at work. Maybe they're on vacation. Maybe the message got lost in their inbox, and hey, maybe they just forgot. So I'm going to take the moment to follow up with them. I schedule the site visits for this course, and these site visits are group informational interviews, as we'll see when we go on our site visits next week. Hopefully, snow cooperating. And I would often send an email or call and receive radio silence. And I had to take it upon myself to follow up with these companies. And 9 times out of 10, when I follow up with them, they say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for following up with me. I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I've been so busy and swamped. So I really appreciate you following up so you can put this on the radar for us again." This is an exercise I usually do in class. It talks about the exchange. We are all valuable, and there's always an exchange. So the first diagram on the left shows one bubble says is the person that's sharing the information, and then the next bubble is the person that's asking the information. So we have our professional in the field that's sharing the information, and us. We're the ones asking the information. What are we getting in return? We're getting knowledge about the field. We've stated all these before. We're growing our network. We're getting to know things in more detail. And what is the professional in the field getting out of it? They get to grow their network as well. They are getting knowledge about us and people that are entering the field. They get to maybe feel good about themselves, feel like they're helping, feel like they're reaching out to people in the community and supporting the overall profession. There's always an exchange. Nobody would ever say yes to go to coffee if they weren't feeling like it was of value to them as well, okay? What would I say? There's various ways to reach out: by telephone, by LinkedIn message, by email. And it's all going to depend on your style and how well you know the person. Are they a stranger? Are they in your network? And that is all really, there's a lot of variables about how to communicate in that regard. On the screen, you'll just see an example email or maybe LinkedIn request that I would send to somebody. So they're still not getting back to me. I might follow up again. I usually do put about 5 business days between my follow-ups. Personally, I do the 3. I contact, I follow up once, I follow up twice, and if it's still not going anywhere, I might just wait for them to get back to me after the 3rd point of contact. Can I ask them for a job? In an informational interview, you are never to ask somebody for a job. Why is this? Well, we don't want to be misleading. We don't want to put it under the guise of I'm looking for information about a company or profession and then show up asking for a job. It could put the person on the spot and it could make them feel really uncomfortable when they're already taking time out of their day to meet with us. We don't want to hand anyone a resume at our informational interview. If I were to go to an informational interview, I would bring my resume maybe and have it tucked into the back of a folder. So if they asked for it, I would give it to them. Other than that, I would not show them my resume at all. So just to wrap it up, informational interviewing is a great way to build relationships in your network. Never ask for a job at an informational interview. Always send a thank you note. Always be prepared with questions. And check out the materials in your binder. You'll see multiple sheets of questions that could be asked. I would encourage you to give these questions a practice when we're out in the field next week at our site visits. I would also encourage you to review the materials in your binder. Fill out the Who's in Your Network sheet as was assigned yesterday, and go ahead and brainstorm a list of 3 people to reach out to in your network to informational interview. If you're feeling a little uncomfortable, maybe this is something new that you've never tried, feel free to start off with, a friend and ask them about their job in a type of informational interview setting so you can start to feel more comfortable about the process.